All objects can absorb or emit heat in the form of thermal energy. Heat can be transferred from one place to another in three ways: conduction, convection, or radiation. If you leave a metal teaspoon in a cup of hot liquid, the spoon will gradually heat up. This is because heat is being transferred from the hot liquid to the cold spoon by way of conduction. Conduction can occur in solids, liquids and gases, but occurs fastest in solids. The major means of heat transfer in solids is conduction, because the particles can only rotate and vibrate. When a solid is heated, its particles gain kinetic energy and move more vigorously. As each particle's kinetic energy increases, it passes this energy onto its neighbouring particles, which in turn passes it on to its neighbours, and so on. And so, heat from a stove will travel into a saucepan sitting on the stove by method of conduction. In this case, the particles on the base of the saucepan, closest to the heat, will begin to vibrate more quickly as they are exposed to heat from the stove. The heat then travels through the pan in the form of kinetic energy, as each rapidly vibrating molecule passes on some of its vibrational energy to its slower moving neighbour. Accordingly, the particles of the food inside the pan will also begin to vibrate more quickly as the saucepan heats up, thereby cooking the food. Some materials conduct heat better than others because of the difference in types of bonding in various materials. Metals are generally regarded as good conductors of heat. Metals that conduct electricity best, such as silver or copper, also make the best thermal conductors. As most metals are good conductors of heat, they are used in implements needed to facilitate heating, such as pots and pans, heaters, toasters, and car engines. Poor conductors of heat, such as plastics, glass, wood, and some fabrics, are used for insulation. These materials can be used to keep heat contained, and are used in the walls and roofs of houses, or as the handles for pots and pans. A simple experiment for observing the process of conduction in action involves a nail and some wax. Candle wax is attached to a long metal nail. The nail is then held using a peg or a pair of pliers over a candle flame. As the heat is conducted along the metal nail, the wax will melt and drip off. Materials that have air in them are often good insulators. Polystyrene foam is a common thermal insulator often used to keep liquids hot or cold. This experiment looks at how quickly ice melts in containers made of different materials. A polystyrene cup and a tin cup of the same size are filled with water and 2 ice cubes are placed in each. The ice in the polystyrene cup will melt more slowly because the polystyrene insulates the cup's contents. Conduction is the movement of heat through a material, usually solids. When an object is heated, its particles vibrate, creating kinetic energy. Vibrating particles pass on kinetic energy to their neighbouring particles. Some materials, such as metal, are better conductors of heat than others. Materials that are poor conductors of heat are used as insulators.